Hi, everyone. Welcome back. Today, we're going to be talking about going from marriage to divorce to divorcee to single mom and becoming an empowered woman. So, let's be real. When we get married, when we say our wedding vows and we say I do, we do not have any intentions of getting a divorce, but somehow, sometimes 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years plus, in today's world, people are getting divorced. Divorces are on the rise. So, how do you get through that, right? In my prior videos, I spoke about that a little. I also spoke about co-parenting, and today we're going to talk about how do you evolve from going from marriage through divorce through single mom and evolving into an empowered woman. So, a lot of people, when we're going through our divorce, the reality is we do not know what's going to happen in the afternoon or tomorrow, right? We are just in this zone where it's like we're hurt, we're in pain, clarity doesn't exist. We are all mixed up in our emotions. We feel broken. We feel like it's all our fault. Um, we question a lot of things about ourselves. We question a lot of things about our partners, question a lot about our decisions that we've made, and it can really drive you insane. So I always recommend that you get yourself into therapy. If you are going through this, find yourself with a therapist. It would help you tremendously. It is something that I had to do. I literally put myself into therapy, I think the day after I found out that I was getting a divorce, right? Woke up and say, guess what? We're getting a divorce. We're divorced now. It's been about a year, maybe a little over a year, and it's been a journey. We're still in court. But it is what it is, right? I'm smiling, I'm healthy, and I will be honest with you, I am an empowered woman as a result of this. It sucks that it had to go through and it had to have happen. It's not something that I intended. I really wanted our marriage to work out, but guess what? It has to be something that both parties want, and he wanted something different. And I can understand it and I respect it, and he has nothing but my best of wishes. Moving on. So, how do you become that woman? So, first of all, I recommend you get into therapy. I recommend journaling. I recommend that you really kind of become a self-centered person, right? And you may say, well, self-centered. Yes, I want it to be all about you to meaning that you're going to be focusing on improving yourself. You're going to not date. I do not recommend dating, but really work on yourself because you have a lot of baggage. We have a lot of baggage when we leave a marriage, we leave a relationship, and work through that. Work through your emotions. Work on becoming a better version of yourself. Be open to admitting to where you made mistakes as an individual, as a woman, so that when you go into another relationship, or even relationships at work, and this doesn't have to be intimate relationship or relationship with your children, you can have a better relationship with them. Why? Because you're coming from a healed place. You're not coming from a place where you're broken and you're hurt. So yes, I encourage you to go find a therapist. Therapy, you can do it virtual, you can do it with a phone if you don't want people to know that you're in therapy or you don't want the therapist to know who you are. I'm a therapist. I do tons of therapy sessions with clients on the phone. I do it virtual. It's very feasible, very possible. And therapy today is really not that difficult to find and it's not that expensive. So I encourage you to really start working into that, to try to figure out how are you going to kind of like flow through the waters. This is new territory you're going into, right? You had a marriage, you think everything was fine, or maybe things were going up and down, but you really didn't think it was going to get to this point. But here you are at the point where you're having to file divorce, or the person filed for divorce, and you have to figure out life, right? There's a lot of things, your house, your finances, your children, your life, whether you have to move, co-parenting. There's a lot of things that goes into this that is going to impact your life in a very negative way. However, I always say that in every negative circumstances, there is always something positive or a lesson to learn through it. So yes, you're going to be going through these things, but as a result of it, you're going to find that you have this inner strength and this inner stamina that you did not know existed within you as a woman. It's like a roar, a lion come roaring out of you because you're now going from, you know, in a somewhat safe environment to now having to survive on your own. And guess what? Our survival instincts are going to kick in. Um, so first, we're going to go to therapy. Then we're going to try to figure out things. There are attorneys that you can find that offer free consultation. I suggest that you meet with a couple of attorneys and then you make your decision. Do not make any emotional, erratic decisions when picking your attorney. Making sure that your finances are in order, making sure that you have the sit downs with your children. If children are there, doing it with the parent. If the parent does not want to participate, I encourage you to do it by yourself, but do it gracefully and respectfully. Um, and being self centered, meaning that I want you to go out for walks. I want you to really figure out what's going to work for you to get you through this. It doesn't mean going out and having sex with other people. It doesn't mean jumping into another relationship. And it doesn't mean hitting the bottles or whatever that is. That is all unhealthy tactics that we use to help us get through it. But I can tell you, none of it worked. I've mentioned in my prior videos, what worked for me was doing therapy and taking this approach of really sitting back and doing a reflection of myself and visualizing the person that I wanted to become, right? Because I did not like the person I was in that situation. I did not like the way it felt. So I had to figure out ways and visualize it to really convince myself, okay, this is what I want. I like the way this feels. I'm going to move forward with it in order to get my life back in order to become that empowered woman. So I encourage you to do the same thing. Get yourself into therapy. Find out, do you like running? Maybe you ran before you got into this relationship, or maybe at the beginning of the marriage, you ran. It could be walking, it could be exercise, hiring a weight training. Nowadays, you don't even have to hire someone. You can literally go on YouTube and do something, but you have to commit to do these things for yourself. If you know that you have a drinking problem or that you're going to drink, I suggest you get rid of all of the alcohol in your house and possibly sign up into an AA group or get additional support. You know, we all know our weaknesses. And so it's really doing that deep diving to figure out what your weaknesses are in your darkest, deepest, dumpy moment and trying to figure out how are those deepest, darkest moments going to trigger your behaviors that you do not want to come to surface, right? So if you know that you're in a slump and you tend to drink, well, guess what? And I know it's going to be difficult. Remove all the alcohol from your home. Remove your environment of anyone who drinks. And yes, it's not going to be easy, but that's why I also recommend therapy and getting yourself into an AA group, right? And this vice that if this is something that is relatable, this applies to every aspect in your life, right? It's not easy if we have a shopping problem, if you have an eating disorder, if you have a drinking problem, if you have a drug problem. We all have addictive tendencies. It is just how we're wired, right? It doesn't make one person better than the other. It's really about making that commitment to saying, well, I know this is how or what triggers me to become or put me into this space. And I don't want to be in that space because I have to be the best, healthiest version in order to function, because I have to be a badass when I'm going through my divorce and I have to be there for my children. And I know that I want to come out an empowered, better version of myself as a result of this storm, because this is just my goals. This is how I want this to go. This is my story. Yes, you did not anticipate to get a divorce, but you do have some control at this point because you are getting a divorce, whether we like it or not. It's happening, or you're in it, or it's going to happen, or we're already there. How do you put yourself together so you are the best version of yourself? Is by doing the steps that I recommend. And it is not going to be easy. I can tell you personally, it's not easy. I have been on this journey of therapy and I have stopped. And when I felt like I needed to go back, I went back into therapy. I have a community that I trust that I can go to and says, you know what, today I'm not having a good day. Today I'm having a very rough day. And those women are able to pick me up and really pour into me. When I know my cup is running low, I have my toolbox that I go to and say, well, guess what? I'm experiencing exhaustion. I'm experiencing low patience. My cup is running low. I need to fill my cup. What is my love language? We have 5 love languages. What is my love language that's going to fill my cup? I love massages. So I found a really cute place, a spa that I would go and I get my foot massages and I would feel good. So I encourage you to really find out who you are as a woman. What makes you tick? What makes you trigger? What makes you glow? What makes you um, become the best version of yourself? It is very, very possible to become an empowered woman. I'll use myself as an example. I went through a divorce. I had no idea I was going to get a divorce. I was one of those women living in a bubble, apparently. Got through divorce. I've been divorced for a year, but honestly, my divorce started in 2020, and in 2021, I had to do exactly what I'm telling you. I started therapy in 2020, and in 2021, I enrolled myself in back in school to become a certified health and life and transformational coach. I went back into studying to become a licensed social worker. I opened up my own cleaning business. I went back into the workforce, and I have been successful at everything that I've been doing because I do it with intentions, I pray on it, and I have purpose. I've become my own business owner as a result of it. I have started my own therapy business, and I'm now working with early interventions and the ABA therapist, which I absolutely enjoy. And so I reflect as to whether I would have gone through this transformation if I went through my divorce. I don't think I would have because I was complacent. I've discovered that through my divorce, I had dreams buried within me that I literally buried and forgot about. And when I started working on myself and finding those things and finding out what lit my fire again, I haven't stopped. And so I have become an empowered woman to empower other women. I'm a single mom and I am taking care of my children the best that I can. I have 4 children. I have a special needs son. And I'll be honest with you, there are days when, yes, I do feel as a failure as a mom. I do feel as a failure as an individual. But there are other days where I have to do self talk and tell myself and reflect on my journey in order to pick myself up. I also encourage you to have a very, very tight knit community. Women that you can trust. It doesn't have to be a million women, it can be 2 women. It can be 3 women, but there are your to go girls, women, friends that when you are down or when they're down, you guys lift each other up. You pour into each other. You pray for one another. So these are the things that I encourage you to think about. And I'm here to let you know that it is very doable and very, very, very possible to become the empowered woman, very possible to find your dreams again. You'll probably say, well, I don't have any dreams. We all have dreams. We all have a purpose. It's really about doing that inner work, really about visualizing yourself, really about journaling, writing your thoughts down, your feelings, trying to really figure out who you are as a woman. And you're going to find, again, like this lion is going to come out of you roaring because you're going to feel freedom, a freedom that you have never felt before, and a freedom that you would never want to give up. You're also going to learn how not to attach yourself to other people. We tend to get into marriages, into relationships, and we lose ourselves and our identity because we attach ourselves into our spouse. We attach ourselves into our children. We attach ourselves into family, into our job. And before you know it, decades would have gone by and we would have again lost who we are. So I encourage you that as you evolve into this woman that you're going to become empowered and you go through this metamorphosis, I encourage you that you journal your journey because you're going to reflect on how long it took you to come to this place that you're comfortable in your life and you feel safe and experiencing this purpose that God had given to you. And you are shining. And guess what? You're going to shine and you're going to shine into someone else's life and you're going to become a light to them for someone who has gone through what you have gone through. Your testimony, our testimonies are also here, not just for us, but it's here to help other women. And so I encourage you to share your journey and not be embarrassed of your journey, but to hold it dear to your heart because this is who you are and this is your identity. Our identity should be in Christ. Our identity should be in a higher being, in God, not in a materialistic thing or a person. I also encourage you to really find a faith and really get grounded in prayers and reading your Bible if you're a Christian. These things that I share with you are things that I did, and I can tell you I share it with my clients. It is part of the protocol that we use in my program, and I encourage you to really, really think about it. Don't forget to look in the descriptions below. You can sign up for my free 10-day do-it-yourself guide, and you can also sign up for a free discovery call with me. Looking forward to hearing from you. Have a great day, everyone.